It's very good to have experience with that, because then
So it's for like your first time?
I did a whole boot camp this weekend with everything recorded this time. Okay, course to store. So what this code does, right, we're in the actions folder for T-user, and soon we're going to rename them and make this very clear what everything's happening. This is basically saying course dot section list. So course is an object. It contains another object called section list inside it. We're accessing this, right? And we're calling it an array. Because in JavaScript doesn't care what kind of variable it is. It's an int, array, whichever, it's a variable. Yeah, there's no types in JavaScript. Everything's var total equals 0. That's just initializing something. For var in array, that's starting a for loop, total plus equals course. Do you know what plus equals means?
Total equal to total plus whatever.
Yeah, because we're in a for loop, so it's going to continually. Now, do you understand this?
Yes, adding like section list.
Mm-hmm.
Then I variable, like it's going to implement every time until the array is empty, read the endpoint.
Yep.
And then chapter says completion.
Yeah. So what is section list?
It's like like it's an object.
Actually, looking at it now, is this an object?
It's like it was.
Is this an object?
Looking like no.
It's an array, actually.
Yeah.
Because this is a. Well, actually, it depends what I is. For var I in array, well, we've called it an array, so it's probably an array. But yeah, so that's an array.
Okay.
And then what are we getting out from that array?
Chapter completion.
Chapter completion.
Yeah.
And then we're saying average is equal to total.
Yeah.
So we've got out. What do you think chapter completion means in this?
Chapter completion, like we would like section how many students completed the chapter.
The percentage of completion of a chapter. Yeah, exactly. So then we do the total divided by array.length.
Yeah.
That's pretty useful. Then we get the average of course. Average course completion. Why do you think that's useful for an educator?
Like educator need like that his feedback about the course.
You need to understand if your students have completed it, so that you can assign them more things or
you can like
help
see their progress.
See the progress, so that they know when and where to help. Yeah. So that was a fun function to make, and I want you to know exactly why that works.
Okay.
But I am not implementing it. But I believe this will be something we implement. It depends on if the database has changed or not. So I'm going to leave it at the miscellaneous. Okay, go to implementation. What's the shortcut for that? Control-Alt-B. So I'm going to be doing the smart way. Implementations found. All right, then I will. I mean, I can see why that's useful, right? I can see why it's useful.
You want to know how many users listen to the course?
Yeah. This user to store is for the teacher, just to put the teacher in our store. Chapter to store because the teacher could be looking at a chapter, maybe in the library.
I can see that teacher can see everything in four sections, student, whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay, so the smart way, Control Alt B, no implementations. Remove that, put it in actions, go back, send course. Again, send course ID, section ID, user ID. Okay. So what is this in the database? You know, we also have this. This is our older design where it was working with Python. We had these different editors. This is more for schools. Okay. And it's probably not being used anywhere. So what was I sending here? Course ID, section ID, user ID. So this is definitely not being used. This is actually for the student dashboard. All right. Fetch courses. Implementations. What does it do? It fetches courses, so that could be used for the library. Access.get. Okay, then we leave that in miscellaneous. And we remove those, not being used. Now I can see that when this is light gray, that means it's not being used.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to speed up this process. But all of these are still used throughout the platform, so some of them are just good to know. So I've even put important here, but this one is actually for the, it's refreshing the fetch. This is the user, and where is it being used? Okay, so then we just remove that, put it in miscellaneous. I don't think this one's being used. And that's just a very simple payload. Let's see what the content one is. Could be important. Content, we have the order, we have the title, microbit message, content. Verify this. I think I saw some answers from the bootcamp yesterday. So you see we have React Basics.
Yeah, also from the people from React and from Bootcamp.
This load content. Let movies to render for backdrop. Yeah, so this was from the bootcamp.
Okay.
But this is just the content. So we have like, you know, the order of the content, the ID of the content, the type, the exercise level, difficulty, programming language, and ID section. But what happened on Friday is that they moved all of this code and moved it to another API. But I will access, so this is different. But the only thing that changes is this URL. You see? The only thing that changes is the URL. But the whole fetch content remains the same.
Okay.
So here we'll write need to change API to new content API. We no longer need this because I've changed that security system. Fetch answer analytics. I need to know if that is also changed. Okay. Make this a bit more fun. But we're recording my voice, so maybe that's not the best idea. Okay. Function post unit title description. This is used to post the title and the description of the educator. But because of GDPR, we can no longer put in the name of the educator, meaning that we can't use this anymore. I think that we do not need this then. So I will remove it. To do, register, blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't need it. Export function user. So no, F user, remove, but is it being implemented? Yeah. But title, update description, this is being used. Alt F7 is to find the usages. And usage is in here. Book choice. You see where the terminal should be under view, toolbar, yeah, view.
It should be new.
It was under view before. To Windows, there we go. Terminal, Alt F12. Okay. Here, I'm just going to update the gits before we make any changes. Update actions folder. When I press Alt B, I see I'm not utilizing that one. So it's not being used. No. Okay. Not being used. So this is what happens, Samir, when we need to clean the code base. And if we don't do this together, then you'll see this process, and you need to see how important it is.
Like first we have to clean the code.
Yeah, we have to know what's redundant, right?
Like,
Know what's not important.
like some functional level in you or anything.
Yeah, we can make the code much easier to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for your readability, very important. So the book dashboard, do you see that being used? No. Remove it. Right. Control B, go to. Remove it. Cool. We can do it.
Nothing has to do with
Yeah. All right, we already had a look at this one. This one is a bit more questionable. Now, this classroom, I'm pretty sure we're using stuff here. All right.
What are the steps like checking, cleaning the code? First one is like to check implementation.
No implementations found. If there's no implementations,
Yeah.
remove it. Get classrooms. Now that sounds really useful. There must be. I must be using this. I am using this. So why is it not detecting? Because look, I'm using it right here. Okay. So what is the correct jump? No implementation sound. Okay, that's not giving me the right declaration. Okay, then what if I do Control Shift F? I see it where it's being used. So component did mount, then I'm getting the classrooms, right?
Yeah.
And where are the classrooms? Classrooms are in this API, whatever, this is testing, of course, it's localhost, but it's an API. And I know that this one is from the new API, so this is very important, right? From new API. I'm going to go through some of the stuff with you, but this is how you should be cleaning the code. Okay, so this get implementations. What are we going to do? We're not going to go for no implementations because that might give us the wrong answer. Control Shift F. Okay. We're using this one a lot. What invitations in this case are when the teacher creates a classroom, they invite students to the classroom, but those students, we don't know if they are attending, yes or no.
We just get an invitation, like you want to join or not.
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Great.
It's like go every student who has been subscribed to this like to the software or the dashboard.
Every student that's been subscribed to. Every student that's been invited by the teacher. They haven't signed in, they've just been invited by the teacher. Because you create a classroom, they haven't used the platform yet. Okay. From the API. This one, we don't need. This, I have a new security system. This one post you need to. I don't think we're using this. I'm just going to remove the register. This was a component I wanted to create so that the teacher could see step by step how the students solved the exercise.
Okay.
But that was very difficult to do at the time, so I wasn't able to finish that. So we will delete it because kind of difficult. With all the other things happening, it's a bit difficult at this time. So go to student, CSS, edit fonts, images, exercise movement. And we need to keep this code very lean. Yeah, or else nothing gets done. Post only user, that sounds like something I don't care about. Add to student calendar, that's something I don't care about. Second, choose students. Yeah, I do care. This is very important. That is the function that, yeah, when you're creating a classroom and then you're adding students, you can press this plus button that adds. Like you can add one student and then
And next go to next student.
not and subtracts it. That's not used anywhere. I'm using Control Shift F. Now I see that this is being used and create classroom. Update name of the classroom. Yeah, that's very important. This one is very important. I don't know if that's right.
What is doing, right?
Of course, is the creating the classroom. So you post it into this API.
API.
It's very important because we're in second choose students and then we're sending the students after we've said these are the students in this classroom.
Mm.
You understand? That's good.
Mm.
Any questions?
What is this one? Mm. One hour is okay. Or maybe probably let me have or some problem.
Did you understand? Do you remember the actions that we went over? For
Action.
reducer.
Reducer. Which one?
Do you remember how we matched the actions to the reducer?
And create a new action. And then we go to reducer like and we make
Where is it linking?
this one.
Yeah, where this is an action. Where does it link to the reducer?
From select class.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. It's the type.
Uh,
Yeah, good. All right, let's move on. Delete classroom. Make sense? You're deleting.
yeah.
And are we using it? Yeah. Where are we using it? In classroom. All right, good. Let's go back to our classroom here. Move up. Are we using it? This isn't being used. It's in the constructor, it's being initialized, but it's not being used. We're using this up prop, stop move up. We're using it here. Nope, not using it here. Using- Right. So we have something working. Now I have to continue going through each of these and verify if we're using them in there somewhere. So since I see a lot of things saying move up, I'm going to type this dot props dot move up.
Yeah.
And I see it's being used here, and I'm going to see it's multiple being used in the application. And you see it's not being used. So I'm going to remove it. I need to go back. What was it called? Move up. I need to make sure that's deleted here. And that is deleted up here. And let's move it there. So this one not being used. Let's double check that. There's quite a few this dot props. Move up. Yeah.
What do you actually check by using this dot move like that?
Because that's how I would use it in implementation. In a component, I would have to use it like that. This is also not being used. CSS. This dot props dot big classroom. So, and then I check, is this mover assignment being used? It's being used right there.
Okay.
So I have to keep
So
it.
now you place the ID pointing to this function.
Yeah.
If it's empty, then it's not empty.
If this is not being used like that,
Yeah, like with the ID going to it,
that's just an argument.
the argument. If it's without argument, then we can remove this one.
No. That is just an option, right?
Mhm.
If I press Control Shift F and I see that this dot props dot whatever I'm Control Shift Fing is not there.
Yeah, okay.
So if this, then I'm not using it in that application. Using this in application.
Let me check it.
div. This one is very generic name. So
Next.
that was actually for the register component, which I deleted. Create class. I'm definitely using that. Make class. Using that. Make class 2. Yeah, I'm using all of these. Using all of those. Dashboard. Am I using this? So I'm using it, but it's not doing anything. Okay. Let's just make a new project, actually. It's going to be so much easier to work like this because what I'm going to do is I'm going to only take the classroom component, and then you'll only work with the classroom component.
Okay.
So you don't care about any other code, just the classroom code.
When we double the classroom code, we put it in the main code like that. And then we deal with that to do the long lesson for everything.
Yeah. When we were making this before, everything was kind of rushed, and then, make this in this deadline. So npm starts. Let me just take it. Something sort of. Just remove this. And another one. So here in the reducer, I'm going to call this is the actual store or store, because we're combining all of the reducers here.
Okay.
We want to, let's call this guy classroom though, to make it as clear as possible. And let's call this classroom. We go to our store. We make sure we call this our store from reducers, because we've called in our reducers, go to our index, our store. All right, so that's Tarek sending us the new API. Tarek.
Okay.
Yeah, the COO. Great man. So what do you think is going to happen when you run this one? All right, so now you've got some clean code, none of that crap that I showed you before. Let's delete the logo of the React. Let's go to S. You recognize this index file here? Right. So we've got this router as well, so we can route. We have Redux set up, the connect function, map states props, but we need to call this our store. What do we call, and if we want to get the classroom, our store, no, not user reducer, classroom reducer. We can just select whatever state we want from there. What else can we get from here?
Yeah.
make, these are our props.
Yeah.
So I just want to like create an example. Like we can get, for example, from our classroom, we should be able to get class. I just want to show some example, right? Which is false. Let's make that more beautifully clear. Spaces. Cool. Now we know how to, just to remind you, I know you did this course, but easier to store. Do you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
For what I was value we have in store, and we get here.
Yeah. And I just want to make this as good for you as possible, so you're not developing anything crap, you're developing with the best. Here. To our classroom. We're gonna get a few errors here, but it's worth it. Return the classroom, import from here. Get ready for the errors. Oh wow, it's actually working. Okay, there we go. There's no CSS.
Yeah.
Mover assignment. So now we're just going to take actions that mover. Yeah, let's go. Nothing to show. One second. I might have deleted it, so if I look up. This is how I can go back in time with GitHub. So I'm going to get the commit. Git check out. And I have to get stash. All of my edits here are going to be removed. So it's now back to the previous one. And you git commit. And now I'm back to the previous one. Oh, come on. That means that. Mover assignment. Oh, it's because it's not coming from classroom. That's why.
Okay.
So now the first thing I have to do is change this to rename it. Index should always be the one that you retrieve it from.
Okay.
Rename this one. And then rename this one. You have get invitations. I'm just having a look at what we like the functions here. So I'm making sure that we get all the functions from our previous one into our new application. Hmm. 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 going to, anything about the assignment,
Yes.
I'm going to leave that out right now because you're only focusing on the,
No.
I'm going to remove everything about assignments because you're only focusing on the classroom.
Yeah.
Everything, yeah. No, that's okay. So something like picking the classroom ID. This one just picks the classroom ID. So I'm going to leave that in there.
Okay.
Now I've changed these variables. So I have the classrooms, and now I need to make sure I have the reducers. Would you be able to do this right now?
Like,
Do you get this process of, I'm in the reducers here, classroom, and I'm in this classroom here,
okay.
and I need to only get the reducers that correspond to these actions. So how do I find the reducer? Get invitation
Yeah.
success, go back to my bigger project,
Find
find it,
direction thing.
find it here,
Yeah.
and then,
In the reducer.
and then, yeah, and then go back to the reducer, make sure that's copied into the reducer.
Okay.
So just for these actions here, there are not that many actions.
Okay.
Try to do that now with my computer.
Okay.
Actually, before you do that, I'm going to just. um, Okay, GitHub doesn't want to work. All right, just try.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, it's done.
do you get work?
That's not working. No, my thing is not working. I think.
Okay, but you tested the,
Well, internet is not working.
oh. It's not working at all. But you don't need internet. Make class of undefined. Make class. Make class one. Make class one is here. Oh, the only reason is because now we've changed it to our store. Looks good. Now I just need some CSS. Okay, the CSS that we used was definitely this stuff here. So if I go to the public folder, I had Bootstrap we were using here. Make sure that we get that Bootstrap stuff in here. See some icons.
Yeah.
Looks better.
Yeah.
All right, and what else do we have here? So from which of these assets look pretty important to me? CSS looks pretty important to me as well. So I'm going to create when you add CSS files, you need to restart the project because it doesn't register the path name. The path name doesn't get updated for some reason. Looks like it's still a problem. Can't resolve. We're in app.js. We need to do this relative, yeah.
We need to start me.
So now that works, and then it's trying to find these images. Because we probably have images here that we need to add in here. Assets.
Are we missing something here? Are we missing something here?
Yeah, it's not a necessary picture. This Jordan McQueen. But why would it be? Okay. So did this guy actually do anything? Well, let's just add him in for now. And let's not forget the other CSS files and more images. Material dashboard in. So let's see, when we add the material dashboard, we're getting some background, bar, and header. It's giving us that. Does this guy give us anything? The demo. No worries. So that seems to be some maybe not necessary. Okay, and then we have bootstrap. Yeah. Okay. Some prompting, maybe not necessary. Oh, we need to import fonts. We imported fonts. Nope. if we restart it, we'll find it. So this one here did some major formatting. Missing anything else? CSS tabs. Anything else we're missing? Bootstrap. The rest is actually, we need internet, but we have internet, right? We don't have internet. Because some of the CSS internet. Okay. Huh. Looks nice.
Let's see.
I can't hear you.
Humor JK.
Humor JK?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so here you have the classroom components README file.
Mm-hmm.
You have the language, the most difficult aspect, ergonomic design, usability of the component, general description. There should be many different components created. The navbar component should have children components containing the navbar specifications.
Okay.
Header component with notification, classroom card component, create classroom card components, and these kind of things. And as well, you need to have in there backend for posting, deleting, editing, and that's splash. Editing splash. And posting, deleting, editing, students, invitations, and posting, editing, deleting, students. Do you understand the difference? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So when I said the classroom should be created, I mean header and navbar component.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go to the index file and look at these. This contains everything. It's a wrapper, and then this is the sidebar. And you see, this one
Mm-hmm.
is a component, but it's not. It's just, all in a piece of code, right? But you see, that is a prop, that is a prop. All of these guys are props. And this should be created in another component.
Mhm.
And you see this function, that's also should be in a prop. Do you know how to do that?
Like was I have to create a reducer?
No, nothing to do with Redux. This is creating a new component.
Create component.
Yeah.
You just
Like what you would do is you'd create a new folder and you'd call it nav. And then in this folder, you'd have a new, and this one is a sidebar. Yeah. And then here, you take out this sidebar and you're going to pull it sidebar. You're going to import. What are you going to import?
cycle
Yep.
from now.
Yep.
Cycle.ps.
Perfect. What are we going to put in here? this, right? But let's make this a dumb component, meaning that it's going to be a constant. Okay, so you can have a look at class card for inspiration. So we want it in this format: import React components, const class card. We take the input props,
Okay.
and we put it down. So here is going to be const.
This will be more like we're doing like sidewalk,
Correct. Great. And this one.
and this one will be like
Go for the easy answer.
like sidewalk,
Yeah. Because we're exporting.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this here will be our.
Code paste this code.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. And this props. Do you see how
Yeah.
we can have
This prop.
props dot our function here, and then we will send that into our props here. Our function, whatever our function is going to be called, we're going to send in our props. What's this called? Props dot sidebar name. Okay. And why is this not working?
And not initialize.
No.
Type one. It's like
We're in JSX, so how do we get this to be JavaScript?
I can do like div.
No. What do you see here? Why is this working?
Okay, brackets.
Yeah. That's one. I just so many different keywords in there.
Not using Norwegian keyword.
Because I lived in the UK for so long. I actually forgot not to do it. And then we do props dot whatever we were going to call it. So props dot sidebar name. Oh, I see. We actually have to make another component in here. You see, another component. Let's back it up a little bit. What just happened here? Sidebar. Now you see this one here. There's a repetition to this as well, because we have list and list. So we need to create another component. I call this list. div on the outside. Use React. Okay. Now, do you see a pattern happening here?
Yes.
We have two lists. And we should always have an on click on a list, right? So we have this. In this case, one of the on clicks is not used. We also need to have a prop here. That states which one is active.
This is the prop. And here we have a classroom.
Just let me. So we want to have the same kind of like formula, right? So div on click is right after li, so it should be here. Need to add that there. Div on click should be props. I'll move to user. This also needs to be a props.icon. There should be a props.function. And this should be props dot and what am I forgetting here? Let's move that here for reference. I want to comment. And this one, of course, is a list. Now here we need to create a mapping function. We have two different lists. Right. So I will give you I need to give you an assignment here to make sure that we have, you know how to do props, you know how to add props to here. List, like we have, what props do we have? We have props,
We have two props.
we have function equals props dot function. If we want to just send that down, what else we have? We have props dot icon, and we're sending it down from the value. Okay. And then we have, which is the last one?
We have sidebar name.
Yeah, that's one. sure that
If we do mapping when we have more than one props.
yeah. So it would be something like if you have a look at classroom and class card, it's something like this. So I do props dot something some array. I map it, and then I have the input here. This is the every element in every array.
Well, is whether it's calling function right from what sidebar name.
So we need to actually create an array for all these different guys. So we need to have an array for them. But I think you'll be able to figure it out. And times name equals, yeah, and then we need to have this to you. Do you have enough information to solve this problem? So what we did here, we have sidebar and sidebar. We need to send props into sidebar as well.
Okay.
Need to send props in here. So you remember how to send props? You can just look in sidebars, see how we send the props here.
Yeah.
So the props get sent inside of here, and then we can access them, just their name like that.
Okay.
You don't have to do this because we have a stupid component. All right. So it makes the code a lot cleaner when we have this. Just small. All right. So that's a little bit of React another session. Okay. So you can download that code. You can have a look at our video.